But number 17, Iowa State, who beat Oklahoma a few weeks ago, getting 3.5 points on the road at number 6, Oklahoma State. Bobby, where are we leaning here in this pick?
All right, so I got to be fully transparent. My knowledge for college football is pretty much bare minimum. I just know that Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback for Clemson, and that's essentially my knowledge of college football. So with this game, all I know about these teams is that Iowa State plays in Iowa and Oklahoma State plays in Oklahoma. That's about it. But I do know that Mike Gundy is the head coach for Oklahoma State. So I think I'm going to take the favorites here, number 6, Oklahoma State. I don't think that 3.5 is too much of a cover. So I'm going to take the undefeated Oklahoma State. I think they'll beat Ohio State by at least 4 and they'll cover.
I'm with you, Bobby. Great minds think alike. And first of all, honestly, I think the less information you have, the better. Again, see Lauren Clark going 5-0. So the less info, I think, the better. So, I'm going to roll with the expert here. You roll with Oklahoma State, I'm with you. They call themselves the Cowboys. They say go Pokes. They have guns. They have paddles that they hit on the sideline. I'm with you. The home field advantage for however many fans there are, Mike Gundy, a high-flying offense. They get their quarterback back. I'm with you. In a year that's been a total nightmare for the Big 12, maybe Oklahoma State can at least give them some sort of hope. The favorite, given 3.5, I'm with you. With how much points are scored in the Big 12, I think that's an easy number for them to cover and win. I'm with you. As I say, go Pokes. We'll shoot some air pistols in the air here. Both of us on Oklahoma State to cover the 3.5 at home.
Go Pokes, baby.
Go Pokes. Look at this guy right now. Boom, boom, boom. We're shooting the pistols. Pistol Pete. We fired up if he was listening, which I'm sure he is. He knows we're picking this game. We'll go to the NFL.
I'm right.
If I'm right,
I might be going to get a second education at Oklahoma State.
And I'm sure they'll give you a nice scholarship. They'll do it for free. They'll welcome you with open arms.
Welcome. I like it. Shake Mike Gundy's hand.
Maybe he'll get a mullet. He's known for his mullet. Is it a mullet in your interest at all?
It could be. If I'm living in Oklahoma, I could be a different man. I don't even know if I'd be going by Rob over there. I don't know what they'd be calling me, but I think I would have to grow out the mullet just to kind of fit it and not be a New Yorker.
Kind of a nice, I'm trying to think, a tanner or some sort of gunner, some sort of Midwestern, Oklahoma Plains sort of name. I think, it could be a good second identity there for you.
I think we're onto something.
I think we are. The mullet gunner is his new name in the Midwest. You get brand new identity out there in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Gunner Young. Love it.
As we say, go Pokes, both on Oklahoma State minus 3.5 for the college game. I was saying this, Rob, looking at this slate of games we have, I think this is one of the toughest slates to pick from. So I give you a lot of credit for calling your shot here at 4 and 5. Right. This is one of those games where I had a lot of issue with. Steelers getting 1 point on the road at the Titans, both undefeated, both really trying to fight for that spot to maybe be the one team that give the Chiefs a run for their money. Which way are you landing this one? Oh, excuse me.
To your point, Hick, I had some trouble with this one. I've been back and forth. We have 2 undefeated teams, Steelers and Titans, both at 5-0, and they are very good teams. I would say the Titans have the surprisingly high-powered offense led by Tannehill against in my opinion, the number 1 defense in the league, Pittsburgh Steelers. So with that, I would say disadvantage Steelers slightly, just based on Devin Bush. He is out, so that's a big loss for them. But as I said, I've been going back and forth, and I did a little research. I wanted to see what teams the Steelers and the Titans have beaten this year, and they both really haven't beaten good teams, right? I know the Steelers beat the Giants week 1, beat the Eagles, Browns. They both beat the Texans, both beat the Broncos. So their schedule hasn't been a challenge. So this is their first true challenge, right? Mm-hmm. And you know what they say, defense does win championships. And I originally did have the Titans, but I think the Steelers defense is going to really come knocking on Tannehill's door, do what they can to stop the monster in Derrick Henry. And I think the Steelers do pull this one out, but it's going to be a great game. It's a tight one. And this is one that I said I definitely did struggle with, but I'm locking in Steelers +1.
All right, Steelers +1. So far, Bobby, I am with it. We are 2 for 2 in agreement. I am with you on the Steelers +1. And honestly, you laid it out perfectly. I like Pittsburgh's defense a little bit more. And to be honest, I like Ryan Tannehill. I think the Titans are legitimately good. I just trust Ben Roethlisberger, honestly, more in a situation like this. So you're giving me 1 point. I think these two teams are pretty close. I'll take the 1 point. The Steelers, I think they do keep it close. I mean, I guess they basically have to win outright in order for us to really win, unless they lose by a walk-off field goal and lose by 1. Well, I guess, sort of push. But hey, I'm with you.
God, don't speak that into reality.
There's Bob at 4-0-1 or 3-0-1 right there.
Oh, just nothing calling my shot. That'd be brutal.
I am with you. I'm taking the Steelers 1 point on the road. Great minds think alike so far. We are 2 for 2, both on Oklahoma State, both on the Steelers. How about another one? This is a NFC West battle. Seahawks -3.5 at Arizona, coming off that Monday night blowout over the Cowboys. Which way are you going with this one?
So this one was actually, out of the slate of picks that I have, I thought this was actually the easiest pick. I think this is actually a no-brainer, guaranteed.
Wow.
This isn't obviously but this is my guaranteed lock of the day, where you're going to input that 100%, locking in the Seahawks at -3.5.
Wow.
And for a few reasons. One, let Russ cook, right? This guy is probably right now the MVP of the league. The guy's been unbelievable with his weapons. Their defense has been shaky at times, but I don't think, based on what I saw on Monday night from the Cardinals against the Cowboys, although Kyler Murray, if you're looking at it from like a fantasy perspective, yeah, he might have had a great day, but he did a lot on the ground, and he didn't look good through the air. He didn't look accurate. He seemed disconnected with DeAndre Hopkins. Kenyon Drake cannot move the ball. He has not looked good, and he was just able to do so against a terrible Cowboys defense. So I think that Monday night game was a little bit of a fluke. The Seahawks only having to cover 3.5, I think, is way too low of a spread. So I am locking in Seahawks 100%.
Wow, our first disagreement. Lock of the week. Not only is he locking in 4 to 5, he's locking in Seahawks -3.5. The Rob Young specialty lock of the week. I'm going to disagree because, you know why? I think the Seahawks defense, they stink, right? They're not good. Russell Wilson, I'm with you. Let Russ cook. He's been one of the best players. He's been the best player in the NFL so far. But what concerns me is that the Seahawks defense isn't stopping anybody. And I'm not sure how it's getting any better this week. I know they come off the bye week, but that doesn't really give me much encouragement that they can actually slow down an offense. I like the way the Cardinals move the ball. I was more encouraged by the Cardinals offense, considering that it wasn't really kind of clicking. It was like Kyler Murray did struggle, but they still put up 38 points against the Cowboys. I understand the Cowboys aren't stopping anyone, but the Seahawks really aren't stopping anyone. So I think the Seahawks can win this game. But to me, at least, I think it's going to be an offensive shootout. So if there's going to be a lot of points scored, it's going to be a close game. Honestly, I'll take the Cardinals at home to cover the 3.5. I think they'll keep it close enough to where they will lose within 3, or I guess within 4, I should say. So I'm taking the Cardinals to cover at home. Let Russ cook 38-35, 35-32, something like that. I'll take it, but I think the Cardinals could keep up offensively for most of the game with the Seahawks and at least do cover that big 3.5 spread. So our first disagreement so far. Oh, sorry, Bobby. You can go ahead.
No, I want to make 2 quick points.
Sure.
To your point, when we look at the spreads, right, 3.5 is a tough spread to take, right? I mean, it's a field goal. So if you're a bettor out there, they always teach you, buy a point, right? So in this case, it's definitely important to buy a point, because I could see the Seahawks winning by a field goal. I can 100% see that. And that's why that was the only thing that made me slightly undecided. But like I said, I'm still keeping it as my lock. I think that in this battle of the birds, I think they do take them out. And I want to make one additional point.
Sure.
Because I was listening before to the show and some of the segments, which I want to add. I didn't say it earlier. Hickey, great show, unbelievable content week in, week out. Everybody should be listening every Monday and Thursday to this guy.
But I will pay you after the show. Thank you, Bobby.
You know my Venmo. I will say there was some discussion around Antonio Brown, and I want to say, and I completely agree. The fact that they are pursuing Antonio Brown doesn't make any sense. They are rocking and rolling with two of the top 15 wide receivers, if not top 10 wide receivers in the league in Lockett and DK Metcalf. And they want to bring in Antonio Brown for what reason? The guy is a distraction. He's a headache. And they have David Moore. And he's made some highlight catches this week as that third wide receiver. So and he already has the connection with Russ. So I don't know why they would want to get in the way of that. I just picture Pete Carroll chomping on his gum, looking at Antonio Brown highlights and saying to the GM, we got to get this guy. That's my take on that.
Love that. Look, this guy's giving takes, dishing out some knowledge, dropping picks, locking up guarantees. We got it all here with the Rob Young experience. This is better than I could have ever imagined so far. I know we're short on time, so we'll go through these next two pretty quickly here, Bobby.
Yes.
Buccaneers -3.5 at the Raiders in Las Vegas. What are we thinking?
So here I'm going to take the Raiders. They're coming off a bye, and I think Gruden, he's one of the top coaches in the league. I think he's going to coach his players well and prepare them well. I also don't like the Buccaneers going out west. You got old man Brady behind center going out, to Los Angeles. I don't necessarily like it. So for those two reasons and the 3.5 spread, to my point earlier with that, the 3.5 to be closed, I'm gonna take the Raiders here plus 3.5.
The number's a little big. I would agree with you. It does worry me a little bit. I'm still going to go with Tampa Bay because I think what they showed in their win over Green Bay, the flashes, more importantly, defensively, what they can do. This team is a very very well-rounded team. Like, it's not just a Brady, Brady's have to lead them to victory. Their defense is really good. I think really underrated. And I like their run game. So I think that they put it all together. I think they can carry that again into Las Vegas. I do think they'll beat the Raiders, cover the spread. So I'm taking the Buccaneers. You're taking the Raiders. Last game, Monday Night Football, Bears getting 6 on the road in Los Angeles against the Rams.
This is another tough one. And I was back and forth on this. And at the end of the day, sometimes you got to look deep into, you can compare the teams just in that, right? You got Goff versus Foles, like obviously the Goff advantage. And you look at, the lack of running game of both teams. It's kind of a draw. Rams have more weapons. And then you got the defense. The Bears have a great defense, and Rams have a very good defense. When you're tying them, when you're pitting them up against each other, you got to look a little deeper. And I looked a little deeper, and I realized that the Rams on prime stink. They just beat the Cowboys in Week 1 on Sunday Night Football by 3 points. And at that time, we thought, the Cowboys, we're going to be a good team, and they've obviously proved that they're not a good team, especially that defense. I mean, they put up 20 points against that Cowboys defense. And then last week against San Francisco, they were non-existent. So based on that, I'm taking the Bears +6, and I'm going to double down on the Bears as my upset special of the week. Lock it in. Nick Foles, the guy is going to play big in prime time. No pun intended for those that know. Nick Foles, Bears, lock it in.
Wow. Our first double dip. We've not had a double dip where a game is included in this slate, and they used that for the upset special. Wow. Bobby calling his shot, going 2 for 1, really putting all his eggs in the basket here. Really, you're setting yourself up here for a big, big, big weekend. Look at this guy, math guy. He knows what he's doing. I'm with you, though, actually. I hate the Bears. I think they're total fraud. I think their record is, people say, Bill Parcells, your record is what you said, or you are what your record says you are. There we go. But, oh, God, I hate the Bears so much. I think they're such a bad team. But with that said, though, too, you look at the Rams. All 4 of the Rams' wins comes from the NFC East. You're a Giants fan. You know the NFC East very well. It is not a good division this year. It's not too hard for a team to beat all 4 teams from the NFC East. So that does worry me. I'm with you. I think the Rams actually will win this game, so I'm not going to take the Bears in my upset special. But 6 points is a massive number for 2 teams that have a good defenses. I don't really expect either one to kind of light it up. We saw the Rams when they played the 49ers, how they can just kind of get contained. I'm taking the Bears +6. I think the Rams win, but I think take the Bears with the points. You, sir, using the Bears +6 as your upset special. I'll stick in the NFL, stick in the NFC. Panthers, 7.5-point underdogs to the Saints going to New Orleans. Teddy Bridgewater going back to the Dome against Drew Brees, a guy who used to back up for a while. Panthers are playing some spunky football. They've been playing hard. Even in their losses, they're playing competitive. I think they will keep this game competitive again. 7.5 for a division game for a team playing as hard and as well as the Panthers are. I think Teddy Bridgewater putting a little chip on his shoulder, saying, hey, you could have kept me instead of old man Drew Brees. I think he goes in there, plays motivated. Panthers +7.5 on the road in the Dome in New Orleans. I think do cover. Fingers crossed they get a big upset. Give me some extra points, but that is it. Wow. So we're both on Oklahoma State. We're both on the Steelers. I have the Cardinals. You have the Seahawks. I have the Buccaneers. You have the Raiders. We are both on the Bears. You double down on the Bears +6 as your upset special. For me, the Panthers +7.5 against the Saints is my upset special. Bobby, I know you got to run. This was a blast. I can't wait to see how these results turn out on Monday night.
Yes, this was a great time, as always. And I just want to add one extra thing that I was looking into. I want to share my almost upset special of the week, and that's going to be Broncos, Chiefs. I don't think they'll cover. I think the Broncos actually lose by 10, so they won't cover the 9.5. But I was close. That is my almost upset special of the week. And I also want to add another reason I'm picking that. The Broncos are 4-1 against the spread this year.